Welcome back to the studio. It's been a while. I've been busy. I had my powerlifting meet and I took some vacation with my family. We're back and today's plan is to work on her face, especially on this eye, and I want to work my way back toward the nose and the mouth. I want to come back to this area because I find that this cheek is a little too light, especially here. So we will work the face again today. I hope you enjoy the video. Oh, and it's still in a grisaille. Here I am thinning my paint with pure mineral spirit. To correct the proportion on her left eye, I am widening the upper eyelid and repaint the pupil. When I am happy with the proportion of her eye, I am working on the smaller details, the cast shadow of her eyelid and the eyeball. At this stage of the painting, I am working on the upper eyelid, trying to make it three-dimensional. Here I am painting the cast shadow and the lower eyelid. The difficulty when painting a portrait of a child is the features are really small, making it hard to rendering them with detail and keeping the proportions. Darkening the edges of the face will help me give volume to this portrait. I find that this eyebrow is way too dark, but first I am repainting it to have correct proportion, and I will lighten the value. Do not hesitate to paint over a previous area that you have worked with. If things need correction, you need to do it. If things are too dark, brighten it. If things are too light, darken it. However, you need to keep in mind that working with oil paint makes you at risk of changing the proportion of your portrait. An eye can become too big or too small. This is the challenge of being a realistic portrait painter in oil. Here I am working on her nose, darkening the nostril, shaping the ball of the nose, taking care of the edges. I was having a hard edge, and shaping the wing of that nose. I wanted to take a break from the nose and the eye, just to rest my eyes. Sometimes I like to work on an area of the painting that demands less detail. Here I'm working on her hair and her ear. Do not put too much information on the ear. The hair and the ear are, to me, part of the background. They're there, but I do not want too much detail. I don't want to render them as much as the eye of the portrait. The eye, the mouth, and the nose are the feature of the portrait demanding the most rendering, the most details. In the cheek, I am adding more shades of gray, more values, to give the illusion of form. The eyes are not the hardest part of the portrait. The most difficult part of the portrait is the mouth, contrary to popular belief. The mouth is difficult to paint. In any portrait, I find this is the area that I struggle with the most. However, to help you with the proportion, look for the distinctive M shape of the cast shadow of the upper lip on the lower lip. Really be careful with your edges when painting the mouth. In the mouth, all the edges are either lost or soft. Look at the Mona Lisa of Leonardo da Vinci. He is the master of edges.
lost, and soft. Here you can see that I rework the area, repaint, recorrect, reassess the value, the edges, the proportion. Painting the smaller form, the smaller detail on the chin. Working on the smaller form in the eyes. Here I am lighting a bit the cheek and taking care of the shape and the edges on the nose. You always reassess, you always come back and correct your work. The biggest challenge with Bouguereau is his extremely narrow value range. Most of his paintings sit within the mid-tones, meaning the contrast between the darkest shadows and the lightest highlights is very subtle. To recreate this, you need precise control over your paint mixture. Here again, I am reworking the nose, reassess the value, and soften my edges. The cast shadow of the hair on the forehead needed to be darkened. Like mentioned before, Most of Bouguereau's paintings live in the midtones. By keeping the entire composition within a narrow range, he achieves a unified, harmonious effect. For the skin especially, his highlights are often just one or two values at the most lighter than the local tone. Again, when working the ears, keep them as simple as possible. I really overdid the highlight on the forehead, so I am softening the transition of the highlight, making it blend into a darker shade of gray, and working on the smaller form on the forehead. Squint often to see the big shape, and do not hesitate to stand up and look your work with a distance to see the bigger picture. Adding on some detail on her upper right eyelid. The battery on my palette camera just died. I lost my palette. I am sorry about that. Here I am slightly lighting the value on her eyebrows. Do not hesitate to stand up and look your work from a distance. You will see the bigger picture. Sometimes we are getting caught into small details, and having another point of view will greatly help you to see the bigger picture. One of the greatest challenges when studying Bouguereau's work lies in his compressed value range. He rarely used pure black or pure white in the skin tones. Instead, almost everything happens within the mid-tones. His deepest shadows hover just above darkness, and his brightest highlights stop short of pure white. This creates an extraordinary illusion of refinement. The skin appears luminous, almost porcelain-like. Not because of strong contrasts, but through tiny, delicate value steps. Every transition is controlled with extreme precision. Sometimes the difference between two adjacent tones is less than half a step. For the artist, this is demanding work. Push the shadows too dark and you lose the harmony. Lift the highlights too high and the glow disappears. When glazing, we will see that Bouguereau relied on thin glaze and subtle temperature shifts to achieve this balance, building depth without ever leaving the middle of the value scale. Bouguereau's paintings invite us into a world where light whispers rather than shouts. His mastery lies in compressing the value range so tightly that even the smallest shift carries weight. Copying his work teaches us patience, precision, and restraint, reminding us that sometimes less is infinitely more.
I am happy with the way she looks right now. I will leave the face and work on my way down. So on the next video, I will start working on the neck, the blouse, and her little jumper here. And I will do the same all the way down until I'm happy with my grisaille. And then I will glaze with color. Until then, happy painting!